She is leader of the group of Voices of Reason. Jody, welcome back to the show. Good to have you here.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes. I think one of the first times we had you on the show, we were talking a little bit about the Women's March. I think I came to JBC maybe about a month after the original march.
Right.
And we were talking about Voices of Reason's been pretty active in the activist community here in Bloomington the last few months, really since President Trump's election. We've got women's marches coming up this weekend, 1 year anniversary of last year's marches that, we saw millions of women marching across the country. I was in Topeka, Kansas at the time, and I remember, we got a tip that there was going to be some organizing happening at Kansas State House, and there in Topeka. And
right.
I roll up with one of my editors, and, we see 6 charter buses just hanging out around the Capitol, and ended up being, I think, Topeka reported 5,000 or 6,000 women descending in Topeka. It was wild. I don't think anyone expected quite that turnout, but we saw stories like that happening across the country. What are we looking at this year, Jody?
I think that we're going to have lots of more women coming out. Many women were excited to hear what happened last year, and they want to be part of it this year as well. Last year in Chicago, we had really wonderful weather, so the weather always plays a little bit part about it. But yeah, last year it was probably the third largest political rally in Chicago.
Wow, so there you have it. And again, Chicago hosting a march this year, as is Peoria and Springfield. Is that right?
Springfield, Carbondale, right. And we decided locally, a lot of us have really worked hard on trying to get the Equal Rights Amendment passed. We had a rally on that in September. We've had a lot of rallies, and we decided that, like so many other progressive grassroots groups, indivisible groups, that we would join in regionally. So Voices of Reason is a co-sponsor of the Springfield rally, which is happening at noon, and then we are also joining in with the indivisible groups in Chicago. So that starts a little bit earlier, and it goes to about 1:30.
Sure. So you guys have a pretty solid game plan happening right now. You've got... You have transportation set up, right? We
have, one of our members has a bus going to Chicago. Some other of us are going to be going on the 7:30 train. So we're meeting at Amtrak, and anyone can join us. I think that's the best way to go because it's the easiest way.
Sure.
Driving is going to be pretty hard. Taking public transportation is going to be hard, too. So we've got that. We also have people meeting at 10 o'clock on Saturday at the Hyatt Place in Uptown Normal, and they'll be ride sharing down to Springfield, or people will be going to Peoria.
All right. So what did it take to get this year's event set up? Has this been in the process since really, I guess, last year's event ended?
Well, the people who do the Women's March in Chicago, they have been working on events throughout the year, and they worked on there was a March event, Women March on Springfield, that I went to, and so they've been working on that. The one in Springfield is being organized by Action for a Better Tomorrow organization, and they're, got us and a couple other groups to co-sponsor. So they've been working on that for about 2 months or so.
So let's look back to last year's march. This was a week after President Trump's inauguration?
Actually, I think it's like
was it the day after? Day after. All right. So what was the atmosphere like back then? Why did this all transpire?
I think that originally a lot of women were hoping that Hillary Clinton had won, and so I think it started out as a rally to get excited that Hillary was going to win. When she didn't win, I think people were confused and frustrated and really worried about what was going to be the future, and they wanted to stand up for issues that they felt very strongly about: reproductive rights, civil rights, equal rights, schools, children, environment, art, quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. So 1 year after that, fears confirmed? Walk us through the atmosphere right now, the general thinking.
I was far more worried after last year's march than I am going into this year's march, because we have had a lot of successes locally. Voices of Reason is now 2,500 people. Some of the indivisible group, IL-18, they have more than 1,000 people. We have had amazing success. We have gotten Democrats elected. We're working on the ERA. We're involved in a lot of local initiatives. We got involved in the solid waste management issue that you're going to talk about. We have more than 50 people running for Democratic precinct committeemen. I don't even know how many. It's lots of people. And we have lots of women running for office: Jill Blair, Nikita, Lizzie, Sharon Chung. So lots of people are running, and so in some ways I see this as a celebration, as a pause to celebrate, to re-energize, to meet with people. I'm going to meet with individual people I only meet with on the phone. We're going to meet in person. Sure. And so that's really exciting. Another person that's meeting is Betsy Dirksen Londergren. She's going to open her office after the Springfield March.
She's a candidate for Illinois 13th Congressional District. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think it's a chance to like re-energize, regroup, get excited, and the future is. It's a lot more exciting than I think I felt after the last one.
Well, just from my observations, tell me if this is a correct, I guess, characterization of it. It seemed like last year there was a lot of anxiety surrounding that event, and this year there's more energy than anxiety?
Yeah, I think there is more energy, and people feel empowered. As my husband wanted me to say, it's more than just pink hats.
Sure. You do bring up a good point there that, there are men involved in this.
Oh, yeah.
Well. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that's what I thought was wonderful about Chicago. About a third of the people there were men. It was very multi-generational, the kids, the moms, the grandparents. It was very multicultural, very diverse. I'm not quite sure if that was as true in Washington, but it was definitely true in Chicago. And so that in itself is empowering, to see all these people coming together and realizing that we have a lot of power in numbers, and if people have gotten involved, and it's very, very, very exciting.
Well, talk about that here in Bloomington Normal, because Voices of Reason, you guys put on those, you guys are responsible for the vigils, right? That happen?
We help with the vigils. It's the social justice vigils that are every Tuesday, second Tuesday of the month. We're not the main organizers, but we definitely are helping out with that, yeah.
So with that as an example, when those first started happening, did you think, all right, this is going to end eventually? Did you think a year later this is still going to be happening every single month?
I think we all hoped so. Because certainly Trump has elected for 4 years, so we'll see how that goes. But, there's so many important issues that we want to stand up for. Last week, we were standing up for the CHIP, the Children's Health, right. And also we're continuing the DACA, the immigrant rights. So, there's so much good that people can, when they get together and help each other out through their government or through nonprofits. It's amazing what can be done.
Well, and back to something we had mentioned in terms of the mood. Some anxiety last year, a little more energy happening this year.
Right.
Looking forward, I just from reading some anecdotal reports, there was a piece in the USA Today yesterday. Talking with some other Women's March organizers, saying there was a focus on trying to get voters registered and
right.
Encouraging people that have thought about running for office to do it.
Right.
Do you think that's going to be happening here in Illinois?
Oh, yes. We, Voices of Reason, Indivisible, League of Women Voters, numerous groups are working on voter registration. I went and learned how to become a deputy voter registration clerk. So, yep, that's definitely been happening. There's lots of women running. I think that several of us have gone to, say, Sherry Bustos, Congressman Sherry Bustos, workshops on how to run. So, yeah, there's going to be lots of women running.
Have you been, there's very obvious evidence of this in McLean County, but are you seeing more women interested in running for office in Illinois?
Oh, yes, definitely. That's definitely happening. I just want to put in that there doesn't look like there's going to be a march in Washington. The women who organized the March in Washington are doing it in Las Vegas this year, and bringing it to the West Coast. And Nevada is an important state for the senator race, and close to California. So it's going to be a little bit different vibe this year as well.
Sure. All right. That is, again, Jody Slothower. She leads the local group Voices of Reason, also helping coordinate this weekend's various women's marches. Is there still room for interested folks that want to get involved with this?
Yes. I don't know about the bus, but I'm pretty sure you can take the train. Anyone can drive to Peoria or Springfield, and they're certainly invited to do that. That's that's one of the reasons I wanted to be on today, to encourage people, if they want to go, that there are several opportunities.
I should probably clarify, do we know where at in Springfield this is happening specifically?
At Springfield, they are meeting at noon in front of the Illinois State Capitol. Susanna Mendoza is the speaker. And then they're marching to the old state capitol. In Peoria, they're meeting at noon at the East Peoria Riverfront Park. Jill Blair, who's the candidate for the 88th district in Illinois, she's going to be one of the speakers. In Chicago, it's happening in Grant Park around the Art Institute, and then it's going to go into the loop.
All right, there's the details. That again, Jody Slothower from Voices of Reason. Jody, always a pleasure. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you very much.
You bet. 322.